1, 2, 1, 2. Oh, we're good.
No, I had to move my microphone around, so we didn't want to get the squeaking and the bang, bang, clang, clang, clang.
I think Brian was actually thinking there was an issue.
Never an issue.
We were just trying to do something new.
Never an issue.
Welcome again to Late Night Parents. I am Ted Hicks. Across the table from me is Rich Valdez.
Teddy Ted, what is going on?
What's up, man? Brian Graves holding down the audio. I don't know. It's a little bit of everything. You know, I mean, we usually check in with him prior to the show, and he kind of gives us the thumbs up or thumbs down, or what are you guys doing?
The yay or nay.
Ways to follow the show, latenightparents.com. As always, we do our weekly show. Big shout out to all of our affiliates, the home team, AM 1240, WGBB. I want to say thank you guys to allowing us to sit here for this hour.
And listening to us ramble.
And rant and rave and...
We don't always ramble.
Rich, it could be I think we're about 72 hours away from another potential shutdown.
Is it upon us already?
Yes, it is. And the latest I heard is there's no talks going on.
You know, this would be so easily solved if all we did was enact legislation that says, if you guys want to shut down the government, you guys don't get a paycheck either.
Yeah, there you go.
Then suddenly, we need to fix this and fix it now.
I would say ratchet it up. You guys don't get a paycheck, and you don't have health coverage also.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's a good one.
You and your family members don't have health coverage.
Yep, play by the same rules as everyone else.
And I bet you they would be motivated to get something done.
Somewhat, you would hope.
You would hope. But, there's so many different things we got to get to this week. No guests, just us. I kind of like the just us type shows.
No, they're good. Because we just pick a topic and then start going off on tangents.
Yeah, no, it works. It works. So I'm not really sure where to go first, but
start at the beginning.
So, I don't know, maybe Thursday-ish, Pam started feeling ill.
Uh-oh.
And, no, you said start at the beginning.
Start at the beginning. That could be the beginning.
But, a lot of ramble going back and forth over in Virginia. Messy?
More than messy.
Disastrous?
It wasn't me. Well, maybe, I'm really sorry. Oh, no, wait. It wasn't me. I'm not sorry. No, I am sorry. Was that me? I don't know.
I think it was me, and I'm digging my heels in, and I'm not going anywhere. Is this the new norm? Because we noticed this. Remember a few months ago, representative of, I believe, Ohio, Jim Jordan, prior to his political career, was either assistant director or involved in the coaching, and they were the wrestling team stated, several members stated that, hey, I was sexually assaulted, and I went to the coaches to let them know, and Jim Jordan just dug his heels in, and it just went away.
Maybe it's because of how the media works these days, where there's that 30 seconds of front page, front line news, and then something else goes along, and people are like, ooh, another bright, shiny thing. And they look it up the other way, and they forget about it. Short-term memory for the public. Let's hope not, though. I mean, he, depending on what story you want to believe, or where he says, well, okay, it was me, but it was 1984, I think it was, something like that. 1984. And it was a different time and all that. Dude, even in 84, it was beyond.
Can we tell black, white, Hispanic that blackface is not good?
Never.
Okay.
In 84, it was just as bad as it is in 2019.
And he stated he was wearing Northam, the governor.
Yeah.
was wearing blackface because he wanted to emulate Michael Jackson.
Yes, that was his Michael Jackson costume, outfit, whatever.
Did anyone tell him that
Michael Jackson didn't want to wear blackface? I mean, let's go for it, okay?
I'm sorry.
Don't be.
It's terrible. It really is.
But true. Terrible, but true.
I mean, come on. So you got...
Right, so you got the lieutenant governor wearing blackface.
No, you got the governor
the governor wearing blackface. Lieutenant governor coming out now with...
Wait, hold on. we got to set this up the right way.
Okay, go ahead.
Because the lieutenant governor...
Yep.
Okay, everyone was railing against the governor.
Yep.
And they said, lieutenant governor is going to be anointed as the second African-American to become governor in America. Second or third.
And then it starts coming out.
That was on a Friday. Come Monday. I don't know what happened.
How many accusations now? 3?
Right now, 2 or 3.
And you see the snippets, him walking through the halls of whatever governmental building it is. Mm-hmm. Focus, cameras all around him. He's smiling and focused eyes right in front, not looking at anyone, trying to dodge those bullets.
Yeah, he's not going anywhere either.
I don't know. Do they think that it'll just go away?
I'm guessing.
Or do they just say, you know what, let me just dig my heels in, finish up my term, and then go do something else afterwards? The term is only 1 year old. Well, yeah. And what, people will forget in 3 years?
So then I think you had the state's attorney general, or he was like blackface. He was like, hey, I wore it too.
Right.
Rich.
It's Virginia.
Rich, what in the world is going on here?
See, this is because we are in our world.
We're in that bubble, aren't we?
We're in our own level of bubble.
Okay.
Where we don't see it. Well, you and I have had those conversations before. About if you get 100 miles off of either of the coasts,
yes,
it's an entirely different country.
It is.
And this is another one of those cases.
Yeah.
Again, think of what historically Virginia politics. Mm-hmm. It's ingrained in people.
And we think about it because then you start to connect the dots, and you're like, Charlottesville,
right?
You
see how these things happen down there. How could up here we wouldn't even fathom something like that happening.
It's not even a discussion.
Go down there. Let's go run around. Let's all protest. Let's all throw our torches in the air, and
tiki torches.
Now, I mean, let's the opposite. No, not even the opposite side of that. The segue on that is First Amendment rights,
right?
But no right to be violent.
But wait,
right to protest.
But no First Amendment.
No right to drive a car down the middle of a street with a bunch of protesters. Okay. Of course not. Okay. Of course not. Okay. Not going there at all.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure.
Oh no.
So that's a mess.
So what do you think happened? What do you think we'll be saying in 2 weeks about this?
In 2 weeks it'll be a different story. 2 weeks it'll be a different story. It'll be a governor, a lieutenant governor, who will be working with the people. They'll go on their apology tour.
Yeah.
And then in another 3 years, the state
running for government again?
The state goes Republican.
Yeah. Again.
That's it.
And that's the end of it. Yeah.
And that's the end of it.
Yeah.
You had your turn.
And you blew it.
And that's that. I don't know. Messy. Just really, 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 really messy. I've got a couple of friends in Virginia that I've been pinging constantly to find out what's happening.
What are they seeing down there?
What are they seeing? Like, because a lot of times you got to see the boots on the ground. And you want to know, okay, this is what we're hearing nationally. But what's actually happening? Because we don't have access to their local TV channels and everything else like that.
And what is the opinion of the local media?
The opinion of one of my buddies, Sean Armour, who's been on the show several occasions, who's for the most part, he's pro.
Okay.
But in this case, he calls them A-clowns.
Okay. Abbreviated A.
He does.
Okay, and that's fine. I mean, that's what it's come down to.
You know, it's just scary. It's just really scary. This is what we're seeing. You know, we always come back to, how do you explain this type of stuff to your kids?
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to look at it. So, right, these pictures have always been out there, and I don't know what the governor's political positions were beforehand, but I'm sure he didn't go from nothing to governor.
Well,
so
he was
been out there.
That yearbook is from his medical school yearbook.
Okay, well, there you go. His medical school yearbook.
His medical school yearbook.
But even just in politics.
But I was
why
you.
is this just coming out now?
Rich, you were ready to give him a pass. You were gonna say,
no, I wasn't. I was going the other way.
14 years old, Ted.
Nope. I was going to say, how come this didn't come out sooner?
Yeah.
Why
well, it came out after
when he was running for congressman or whatever.
Whoever is running the opposition research for the GOP,
yeah,
for that race,
right,
should be fired.
Oh yeah,
should be fired.
Why does it come out now?
It comes out a year later.
Mm-hmm. Should have seen it and gone for it and done what you had to do.
I don't get it.
And the same thing I'm going to say for the lieutenant governor and the accusations on that side.
Ugh.
Why do these things suddenly come out now? If he, allegedly committed these acts, why are you waiting till now to say something about it? Is this political motivation? Is this financial motivation?
Gotta be. Something.
Something. So why wait all this time?
I think it potentially could be if a person is elevating to a certain position. Because what we saw with Kavanaugh.
Yes, okay.
When he was in the circuit court, I guess
you give him a pass?
You give him a pass, or he was given a pass. But the minute he got pulled from there to, it's kind of like you're in AAA and you get pulled to the major league.
You're like, okay, we can't let this go now.
We can't let this go. And I don't know. I don't know how this stuff comes about. I mean, the one thing is the women that have been assaulted, it takes a lot for them to
come out,
to come forward,
to speak. This is
true.
why?
Because a lot of times they're going to be blasted.
Right.
Yeah, they're going to be asked, "Whoa, why did you wait so long?" And it's just like, we've seen this time and time again.
No, that's true, and I guess just to get out there, and then once you make that statement, and you become the person in the political eye,
right?
And of course, both sides are going to spin things to the best of their ability on their side. So the spin against you is going to be kind of heinous and saying all kinds of things, of course. And you don't want to put yourself and your family and everyone else through it. I get that. I do.
I mean, we remember that with the Kavanaugh case, the minute it was just a zoo-like,
right? Where
everyone, all parties were affected.
Yeah.
Meaning you can't go home. You're getting death threats.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's all the above. I guess, at that level, it's just the stakes are so high with the Supreme Court. This is local politics, but last time I checked, the governor is pretty powerful.
Pretty powerful. Highest position in the state.
Right. So
for local government.
I don't know. We shall see, and we'll check in from time to time and discuss this as this gets pushed further. But this is Ted and Rich. This is Late Night Parents. Ways to follow the show, latenightparents.com, where you can basically find everything on the site. We've been pushing out a lot of content lately. Something you mentioned last time, Rich, the last time we did a live show. I don't know if you watched the Super Bowl. I don't know.
We were going to go to our Super Bowl conversation. First of all, you probably did. Did you watch the entire game?
No.
Wow.
All right. I was done.
That's really saying something.
I was done. I don't know about you, but I had my dad over, and I was like, I got to get you home. I got to come back.
Yep.
I'm going to have to clean up, do all this other stuff, and I did not watch the full game. I did not watch the celebration.
Right.
I did not watch any of that stuff. I was like, I'm out.
That was, so So again, me not the big sports guy, but yeah, of course I understand some. You being more the sports guy. Was this a case of two really strong defenses going up against each other, which makes for a boring looking game, but as far as tactics and strategy and gameplay, for those on the field can be great. Was this a case of just defenses going up against each other, and then at the end, Brady's Brady, and he makes the plays that he needs to in the last quarter, and one player outshining them all, Mr. Edelman, way to go. Is this the case of what that was, or was this just a boring game?
A lot of people will say it was. So they had about 100 million viewers,
which was like the lowest
forever,
almost, or 10 years or some ridiculous
number. At least
number.
10 years.
Yeah.
Big question. Before I answer your question,
okay.
What were the other 230 million people in the United States doing if they weren't watching the Patriots and the Rams?
It's a good question.
I don't know.
I mean, I was watching a game.
Defense. Let me tell you something. You got Belichick, who, whether it's defense, offense, special teams, this guy handling contracts, he's like part of the brain trust.
Right.
Okay. The only thing he's not doing is he's not on the field. Wade Phillips on the Rams side.
Right. Youngest coach, if I remember correctly.
Oh, well, Sean McVay is the youngest coach.
Okay.
He's the actual coach. Wade Phillips is the defensive coordinator.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
He's son of Bum Phillips. He used to be with the Houston Oilers. Great defensive mind, and the Rams have a great defense.
Okay.
They got studs at almost every position. Came down to two great defenses. You had the Rams on the field a lot longer.
Right, especially at the beginning.
Right. So at the end, you could see they were gassed.
Right.
What else? The only other thing else I will say about this game is the NFL has spent all year shoving down your throat these high-scoring games. 54 to 51, 43 to 40.
Right.
So when you get a 13-3,
which was a 3-3 for the first 3 quarters of the game.
For the first 3 quarters of the game, when you get that, you're gonna be like, I'm slightly turned off.
Right. But you can have a low-scoring game that's still exciting.
That's true.
And this really wasn't that.
No, it wasn't.
It was. I mean, it was a game, and they were playing, no question about it. But it just was not an exciting game.
No, it wasn't an exciting game. If you love defense, if you're that type of fan, it was everything that you wanted it to be.
Right.
But a lot of us that are novice, we want points. I was expecting 30 to 24, 34 to 24. Even though I was rooting for the Rams, you kind of knew it was Taylor.
Were you rooting for the Rams, or were you rooting against Brady?
Both.
Okay.
A little bit more of the latter.
Okay. As were anyone that I've spoken to was like team anti-Brady.
Yeah, totally. Yep. I mean, but you got to respect what he's done. A lot of people
you
say
can't take it
he's a
from
cheater,
him. No.
He's dad.
You cannot take it away from him. It's a beautiful thing to watch when he gets in his zone.
Oh, yeah.
And when his receivers are in their zone, it's just, let's walk down the field, pow, pow, shot, that arm just gunning shots, gunning throws. It's just a nice thing to watch. So,
almost 42 years old.
How many more seasons do you think? So these things. Contract. How much more time does he have in this contract?
He's going into his last season next season.
Okay.
And he doesn't usually. The Patriots usually don't like for him to. So they're probably going to extend him. They'll probably extend him 2 more years.
Okay.
So I'm thinking.
And that would probably be it.
Well, he's saying 45.
He's playing like he can keep up with it.
He's saying 45, and then. He's, his avocado ice cream and all the TB12 type stuff.
He's got sponsorship.
He looks like how he looked when he first walked into the league 20 years ago.
Remember they showed those pictures during the game, and that was like, wow, he doesn't look like he's aged at all. 5 years.
Right.
It's like, okay, well, good living. Hey.
And he does have, when he's not playing, he does have Giselle.
Yeah.
So I'll leave it there. Tell me about Tesla.
Tesla. Hashtag Tesla.
Hashtag Tesla. But tell me about, I mean, are you talking about the Joe Rogan, Elon Musk Tesla?
Talking about that little Model 3 car that Elon Musk Tesla.
Okay.
So we've been talking, and now it's been a good month now. I took a test drive just for the fun of it. So, I mean, you know, I love my current car. Hashtag what's up, New York 5th Gen Camaro Club. How's it going, guys? But I was, you know, just looking around. I was like, you know what? I was actually in the mall on a patrol one day.
Okay.
And Tesla shop in the mall, Walt Whitman Mall, Long Island.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at the car. I'm like, you know what? Let me take a test drive.
Okay.
The salesperson, more than happy. Sure, you want to take a test drive? No problem. We'll sign you up. You know, you tell us which car you want to test drive out of any of the models.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, we'll see you that day. Schedule it out. No big deal. Get all the emails. Get out there. I said, let me test drive the Model 3. I said, if I was ever to get one,
okay,
it would probably be the Model 3. It is the most affordable of them all. But it has all the features and everything. So that's what I did a test drive of.
Okay.
And it's a real test drive that they give you. So I had the car with a co-pilot for almost half an hour.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, you know, they get you the car. We walk around the back of the mall, and the sales guy's there. He's like, all right, there's the car sitting there. He gets in the passenger seat. Well, actually, first he walks around, lets me get in the driver's seat, starts going through all the features on the ride. Now, if you're familiar with the car,
and I'm not.
Okay, so the dashboard. They're basically is no front-facing dashboard. There is just a vent that spans the full left, right side of it, which is where all your heating and air conditioning and everything comes out. In typical Tesla fashion, in the center, there is a display the size of maybe like an iPad Pro,
okay,
large size,
okay,
in portrait position, which gives you all the information and all the controls and all the settings that you're going to use on the vehicle. On the steering wheel, it's very sparse. Of course, you have a turn signal arm, and you have your gear shifting arm on left and right. And then under where your thumbs would fall when you have your hands on there, there's two almost like mouse wheels. It's like your typical third mouse that toggles left side to side, and you can press in and scroll wheel. Two of those on a wheel. Using those is how you control everything in the car. You go into the panel. You want to control the mirrors, hit the right thing in the display, choose the mirrors, use the little thumb drives to move the mirrors around. Move the seats back and forth, go to the seats in the control, move the little wheels, move the seats back and forth. All the settings for simple things like in a normal vehicle with a standard traditional engine and torque converter, things like that. You know how when you're on the brakes, mm-hmm, and you release the brakes a little bit, car starts to creep forward.
Mm-hmm.
Well, again, the Tesla, remember, is a 100% electric engine. So there is no constant power going against the car. So in one setting, in normal modes, if you take your foot off the brake, the car's not going to go anywhere.
Oh, okay.
Unless you're on an angle or something like that. It's just going to sit there. Which also means, though, when you're in traffic, there's no real creeping. All right, so you know how normally you'll take your foot on the brake and press a little bit, release a little bit, and the car will inch forward.
Right.
Tesla's not going to do that.
Really?
But there's a setting in there to turn on, I forget exactly what they call it, but we'll call it creep mode. And there's two different levels of it. So you can set it so that the car will take your foot off the brake. It'll start to inch forward a little bit or not. So let's get to driving. So, of course, the biggest thing about Tesla, two things. The power. Now, I was driving the performance version. So they've got two different versions, basically like a two-wheel drive and a four-wheel drive, or all-wheel drive, we'll call it. I drove the one that's like the all-wheel drive with the strongest battery with all the highest performance.
Okay.
0 to 60 in like 3.6 seconds, which is true. It's one of those things. You step on the gas getting onto the highway, and where in a traditional vehicle, you're used to hearing it shift gears. Mm-hmm. You kind of ramps up the power. No, as soon as you hit the accelerator, the car is gone. It's really something interesting to feel. You're right in the back. It pushes you right back in. The biggest thing, of course, we all hear about Tesla, autonomous driving, right?
Right.
So, and we get to test this. I got on the highway, on the Northern State Parkway, all the turns and everything.
Okay.
And the guy's like, okay, you want to use autonomous driving? Go ahead. We'll start with the 2 different levels. So the first level is it has basically the equivalent of your standard cruise control. You set the speed and you set the distance you wanted to keep from other cars.
Mm-hmm.
And you can still steer, but the car will take care of the distance, keeping you from getting too close to other cars and keeping your speed up. If you want to go fully autonomous, you hit the button again on the steering wheel and take your hands off the wheel, and it's keeping distance, it's keeping speed. It's got cameras and sensors all around the vehicle, which will look at the other cars around it and put a little icon of what the type of car it is on the display. So if you got like a minivan on the left of you and a little subcompact car on the right of you, it's going to show you what kind of cars are right next to you. You need to you want to change lanes, you just hit the turn signal, the car checks, and the car changes lanes on its own. It keeps speed. It's, I'm sure you would get used to it pretty quickly, but it is pretty cool. You feel the car on the road. It may go back and forth in the lane 3 or 4 inches as it's driving along, as it's keeping pace. So you get a little bit of sway back and forth here and there, but autonomous driving is pretty cool. It does what it's supposed to do.
So we're pretty close.
We're really close. I think what we're even more closer to is, and I'm talking with my sales guy, because what happens is if you work for Tesla and you happen to buy a Tesla as well, then you kind of get in their beta program. So they get the new stuff before it's released to everyone.
Okay.
It's safe, but they get it first. And the next thing that seems like it's coming is going to be fully, set your destinations a la Google Drive or Maps and tell your car where you want to go, and there you go.
I was just about to say, okay. So if we wanted to take a trip to Camden Yards.
Yep. It'll be there real soon. I think if I remember correctly, it's coming. It's going to be released
2020, 2021,
2019.
2019.
You'll put in your destination and okay, car, let's go. And so right now it'll do things like go in and out of the driveway, pull itself out of parking spaces. Excuse me. You can do that now.
Okay.
But the fully programmed driving is coming. Which is pretty cool. I mean, comfort-wise, again, that's the Model 3. It's their lowest level car.
Right.
Price-wise, they're being a little deceiving as far as saying it's $35,000. They're saying that it's that $35,000 price point after you take into effect the government subsidies or government benefits, and they're also taking into effect how much you potentially save on gas price. So if I remember, it's like $43 is really what it's going to cost you to get into one to start. And that's the lowest level one, the 2-wheel drive, not the performance. And again, I think it's about $65,000 for the full tilt dual motor, full power, 320 mile range battery version. But driving, I was very happy with it. I was kind of impressed that what they could do with that car. Inside, it's not a luxury car.
Okay.
You're not looking at all the high-end leathers and burled walnut and all that kind of thing. It's functional. But you could easily get 4 people in it, plenty of storage space, very comfortable. Let me see what I'll do in 3 years. Would I get one used that came off of a lease? I would definitely consider it.
Before we close out this segment, the one thing when we talk about Tesla, we talk about these hybrid-type cars, I still think the fear is still out there in regards to charging the car. Is that more or less not an issue right now, or aren't people still? Isn't it still like in the back of people's minds?
It probably is now. Just to go back, the Tesla is not a hybrid; it's pure full electric. There is no gasoline, motor in there. Unlike, say, the Chevy Volt. Mm-hmm. And a couple of other, Priuses, things like that, which have a gasoline combustion engine as well. But as far as the battery goes and charging, if you're getting, especially like the Tesla, 250 plus mileage range.
Okay.
If you're just doing normal driving like you and I do, commuting back and forth, or if your drive is even, we'll just say less than 100 miles a day. Mm-hmm. You're going to drive where you're going. You're going to get back home. You're going to plug it in when you get home. So you have the options of the regular 110 voltage charger, which does take a long time to charge. I think, if I remember, it's about like 8 hours or longer for a full charge, which is overnight. or you get the supercharger version, 220 volts. You'll get fully charged in like 4 or 5 hours. And if you want to get to 75% charge, again, timing wise, don't quote me, but it's then like 3 or 4 hours. So if you're just doing this day to day, you've got battery at home. You're going to plug it in and drive when you get home, and it's going to be good to go in the morning. Like us here on Long Island Railroad stations, there are charging stations at the railroads. Right. I used one when I rented, or I was given a loaner Volt about a year ago. Use that, and that's fine. And if you are going on the long distance trip, there are the charging stations all over the place, and they keep adding more and more. Okay. And if you're going to take that trip, you just plug the trip into into the Tesla, and it's going to route you to the charging stations. Gotcha. And get you over there. And I think it even kind of takes care of the space reservations, if you will, things like that. So you get there, there's a spot, charge, and go. It's still, I would say if you want to take one across country or on that 1,000-mile trip, you got to plan it out. You will need to stop a couple of times for the car, no question about it. But you could probably time that also with overnight stays. Make it a 2-day trip. Okay, you should be good. So I don't think it's needs to be as much of a factor as it used to be.
So Tesla, that was your free promo.
There you go, Tesla. We will be hashtagging you and find someone we can let see this. Or I'll go to the guys at the store and give them the link to this show.
You give them the link to the show.
That's what I'm going to do.
Sounds good. This is Late Night Parents with Rich, Ted,
and Brian.
And Brian holding it down. Ways to follow the show, latenightparents.com, where you'll find the blogs, wikis, Twitter, Facebook, an archive of podcasts, and that's about it. I'm going to take a deep breath. Okay. I remember when I was learning to swim.
I have no idea where this is going.
I really wasn't sure. Okay. But my dad said, hey, you're going to learn how to swim.
And then he picked you up and threw you in the pool.
He not only threw you in the pool, he threw you in on the deep end.
Of course.
And you sink.
Yes, you do.
Or you swim.
Or you kind of do both for a few moments.
Right. You panic a little bit.
Yep. Almost lost you in the sun, didn't I?
My next question.
Uh-oh.
And I feel uncomfortable even asking this of you.
Uh-oh. Go ahead. Just ask it, Ted. We've known each other for going on 15 years. Go ahead.
Why do smart people send nude selfies?
I really had no idea where this was going. Why do smart people send nude selfies?
I mean, it's a bad week for Jeff Bezos.
Of all people to realize that once you put anything out there,
come on,
forever.
Come on, it's Mr. AWS.
Or maybe he thought he had an in and he could tag him and then delete him from everywhere.
I'm confused. I really am.
I don't.
But I have to pose that question because he is probably the most powerful person in the world, the richest. You have everything at your fingertips.
Yes.
We see the shipping with Amazon trucks flooding the streets.
We'll see Amazon drones before we know it.
You name it. Whether you're pulling up, Amazon Video, or you're using your Prime service, or you're going into Whole Foods,
or you're logging on to basically almost any website because their storage is coming through Amazon Web Services or storage. So, this is a good question.
Go ahead.
I have no idea.
I have no idea either. Is it hubris?
It's I guess that's the only thing you can say. He just feels he's above it all and didn't have to worry about it, and it'll never get out there.
So you're sending pictures of your lower region? Come on.
I don't know.
Come on.
I got nothing.
Come on.
I got nothing.
So I was heading home. I think it was Thursday night, and I saw the post just at the badge app on my phone came up. Jeff Bezos's letter on Medium talking about AMI,
blackmail,
Inquirer, blackmail, and Complexifier.
See, I haven't looked to see.
I read it.
Where the images? How did they come into the Inquirer's hands?
That's the big question. That is the
That's
big
still
question.
The question. Okay.
He has his team of investigators, and
Right.
they're like, okay, so no one was hacked.
Well, see, here's the thing, though, right?
Allegedly.
If he's going to go out there and say, I don't know where they could have come from, does that mean he sent them to so many different people?
I don't know.
Because if it was just one person,
Right.
you can put things down and go on the hush hush, go to that person, and like, yo, did you send this out? Why did you and take care of it?
Right.
But if you sent the pictures to numerous people,
Come on.
you've got no one to point a finger at necessarily, allegedly, and you get into a situation like this.
So that is the reason why, in the last segment, when you mentioned creep mode, I said I was going to just jump in there.
Just going for it.
And I was like,
You should have.
But no, I have a little bit of...
You let it build.
It's like,
Let it build. Okay. So I don't know what to say about this. I think this is one of those things that will blow over.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because who cares? And really, he's not a politician.
No.
He's the filthy richest man in the world, basically.
Totally.
So, and if he, fine, he's doing that. That doesn't make him a good person.
So
But do we really care?
No. He's
Right.
going to get a divorce. He's going to give his Mackenzie,
Whew.
what, 80 billion?
Can you 80 billion?
80 billion. Here you
Billion.
go.
Right.
We're
and
good.
there you go.
We're good.
And that'll be it.
The second part, why I said it was a bad week for Jeff Bezos. Do you see
Yeah.
that the groundswell
Against.
the local politicians, hyper local,
So
pushing back?
So for those that aren't aware exactly who aren't in the tri-state area,
Right.
the news was that Amazon was looking at building headquarters 2 out here in New York, in one of the 5 boroughs in Queens. And I'm trying to figure out why, really. But there's a lot of pushback from the local politicians not to have this 25,000 jobs, was it?
25,000 jobs, but Rich, $3 billion in subsidies
To get them to come here. For what, 10 years? All right, so fine, give it to them, because at the end of the 10 years, they're going to have to pay taxes. And still, you're going to have 25,000 more employed people. Maybe not all from the local area, because it's technology jobs. But it's also still a campus. The construction alone, for how many years to build this campus?
Of course.
It's the construction trades, the electricians trades, the plumbing trades. Everyone makes tons of money off of this. And then you will still have a lot of people in the local area who want to be employed there. I see win-win.
I see win-win. Where I don't see a win
Yeah.
is... I'm probably going to get in trouble for this. But
Go ahead.
Here we go.
Go ahead.
All right.
Jeff Bezos is right now sitting at home saying, what do Ted and Rich really think?
And when we can't pull up the website and we're blacklisted from everywhere.
Right.
I
think I'm knocking at the door.
So here's the problem.
Okay, go
The
ahead.
problem is, and I won't use names, I will say this much. The local job, where it's the local shipping piece of it, component of it,
Right.
the drivers and the factory workers,
Right.
the things that are, not making as much money,
Okay, go ahead.
rightfully so, might go to the locals
Right.
in that area.
Correct.
But when we're talking about database administrators and system administrators and
We've got a ton of them in New York.
Unix administrators,
We've got a ton of them in New York.
I don't see, like, if you could tell me
Go ahead.
that there was some type of training program we're going to put in place so that the local residents there will have an active shot at obtaining these high-paying jobs. I'm not talking about the low-paying jobs.
Right, I know.
Because that one, I'm talking about the high-paying jobs that could really make a difference to people in their lives, to their families. I don't see that happening.
So I would say to that, one, all those jobs are in this area already.
Okay.
I mean, because we are the financial capital.
Yes, we are.
And it's nothing but systems and databases,
Mm-hmm.
and this is IT central for the East Coast, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the big reasons because of Wall Street, and it is the center of business. Let's be real; it's New York City.
Okay.
But the other thing I would say to that is, okay, if you are a person who's kind of paying attention, and you hear that this is coming, now let's be real.
Mm-hmm.
If it was given the okay tomorrow, it's not opening for 3 years.
Right.
Right?
Right.
That's 3 years where you can get your training.
Okay.
3 years where you can say, you know what, I think I really want to try and do that and work towards that education, that step to get. Obviously, you're not going to be a top level, database administrator in 3 years,
Mm-hmm.
but you can have yourself ready to get in the door.
Okay. I think the local politicians are caught up in slamming de Blasio and Cuomo.
Yes.
And the fact that they cut this deal kind of going around the state
Right.
senators and the council, people, the city council. That's where I think their heinies are kind of chapped.
Or is it just that they didn't get their piece of the pie?
It could be that too. It could lean towards that. I'm just saying. You have how many different places that are clamoring for it,
right?
And New York isn't. So I think the Amazon execs have fired a warning shot to say, you keep pressing us,
and we'll take it away.
We'll take it away. And
then the same politicians will be making noise. You took all this from my district and my people. We could have done this. Blah 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 blah.
But I think the main problem here is the $3 billion in subsidies. And
right. I understand. I mean, I don't know what the time frames are. Usually those things are like 10-year deals.
Right. But I'm thinking, Rich, in this case, that $3 billion.
Yep.
The MTA, the infrastructure is crumbling.
Yes.
It's falling apart.
That's true. That's looking at Long Island Railroad.
Looking at the
MTA
railroad.
fare hikes.
Yes.
Yeah. No, this is true.
Hike
that's a lot of money.
Every 18 to 24 months.
Yep.
So there's ways to use this money. Now, granted, they're going to generate some money from having them here. I don't know. I just think maybe they go back to the table,
right?
Cut another deal,
right? I would say that's fair. It's funny you mentioned MTA and fare hikes and all that. I was looking at something just before leaving for the show to realize that in 20 years, the Long Island Railroad fares have doubled.
Yes,
doubled. I do remember paying under $200.
Yes,
and now it's well over $300.
Yes,
for shoddy service. Old trains, beat up service. The list goes on and on.
You know, when you get on that train, that local train, and it just has that aroma, and you're standing like, oh, I can't even sit here.
Why am I here? It's
Why am I
the
here?
older trains, yes.
Yes.
Yep.
You step onto the train for it takes maybe 2.7 seconds to hit you.
You're in the wrong end.
You're like, whoa.
You're like, did I just walk into a porta potty?
Did you hear that Facebook was paying teens to spy on them?
That's about all I heard. I was listening to something, and So that means some teen somewhere clicked on accept for whatever this offering was.
A bunch of teens.
Right.
They were paying
a bunch,
them,
right. How much?
Like $20 a month?
To spy on them, just to watch everything they were doing.
To record everything they're doing.
You mean they're not anyway? I mean, let's be realistic, okay?
I had that conversation.
Let's be realistic. They're everything you do on Facebook is watched anyway, unless this wasn't okay to watch just everything you do on the computer.
Everything you do on your phone, everything you do on your computer.
That's crazy.
Hey, it's data, and we're going to pay you for it. We're going to pay you next to nothing, but we're going to pay you for it.
$20 a month. See, I would say there's a whole bunch of questions there. It looks like that, some of the participants were like as young as 13 years old.
Yes.
How can you can't ask a 13-year-old to consent to something like that? I wouldn't think.
Who knows nowadays? But it's so funny because of the stance that Apple has taken. I don't notice. I mean,
because it got through Apple's vetting processes?
Yes, because what it's doing, and what a lot of people don't do, is it's not that it per se got through Apple's vetting process.
Right.
It was kind of like, hey, here's this app.
Mm-hmm.
Here's how you install it without going into the Apple Store.
All right. So just bypass the App Store completely. Install this. Then it's on your phone.
You know those type of alphas and betas that you're involved in. They're like, here's a URL.
Right. Click on this to install it. Blah blah.
Right. Yeah, you can kind of sideload it this way. So Tim Cook and others were up in arms. I mean, and I truthfully say that it's a valid point. Tim Cook and others have had issues recently, with that FaceTime bug.
Right. Which I think they're releasing the fix for that. Is it today?
I think so.
Yeah. I saw a notice on my phone that there's an update going on tonight, so that's probably it.
But
there's a difference between a FaceTime bug.
There's a big difference.
And intentional snooping.
Right.
Wow.
So the operation, which takes form of a VPN called Facebook Research, installs with root access on iOS. Think of it as the key to your iPhone's safe, allowing the social network access to private messages on chat apps, photographs stored, sent to others, and even data from within encrypted apps or private browsing sessions.
So they just take all the data, all the traffic on your device, push it through their networks, and proceed to tear it apart. Analyze it bit by bit.
Right. So then you wonder why, for months,
right,
for years, Tim Cook has been taking swipes at Facebook.
Yeah, and
on
their
data
security.
Privacy.
Yeah.
And somewhat at Google too. But for the most part, he's been going all in,
on
saying
Facebook.
They're taking your data and they're selling it.
Right.
And then you can really sit there and say, he's not wrong. He hasn't been wrong.
I'm curious to see what happens again, because how do you ask permission from a child for anything to give up their data, give up their privacy, things like that? They can't. I can't see how they can legally answer a question like that or give permission for something like that.
Is it the same way that teens are being paid money to promote things on Instagram and stuff like that? Would you put that in the same bucket or no? No,
because that's basically free. Well, not free advertising. That's advertising, and they're getting paid for it. So it's paid advertising.
You're getting paid with this too.
When you're giving away your that's a child giving away the keys to the kingdom, to their kingdom. I mean,
right.
You don't know what. So if this is, as it says, is the VPN going through, pushing all the data through there. So anything the parent sent is going through these sites.
Yes. So
could be anything.
Bank records.
Could be anything.
Medical information.
Home security codes.
And everything.
I can't see a child being able to give permission for something like that legally.
That's kind of where we are with. It just seems like with Facebook, I don't know. And I know
you've been I won't say anti-Facebook. You've been less biased, slight negative Facebook bias. There we go. And more over time.
I've been seeing this over time and time again.
Yes,
I'm like, you got to be careful. We got to do this. We post another blog on, hey, make sure you check and see who's logged in on your Facebook.
Yeah.
What, widgets are enabled to have your personal information.
Go review the settings on a regular basis.
We've written it. We've
Yes,
talked about it until we're blue in the face.
Yes. Farmville does not need your contacts.
It does not need your contacts.
Yeah.
Sad. Very sad. Are you watching the Grammys?
I will have it on in the background.
I know you would.
I'll have it on in the background because there will be a couple of good performances.
You're good like that, where you're like, I'm excited for Alicia Keys.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons.
I don't think I'm gonna watch it.
I'm not going to dedicate myself to it.
Okay.
Like I said, I'll be doing something on the computer. It'll be on the TV on the side, and I'll hear something start playing, and I'll watch it, and then I'll go back to doing whatever I'm doing.
Do the mainstream artists still really go to? I mean, it's the 61st annual Grammys. Do they still go, or are people boycotting, or where are we at?
There
with
is some
this?
boycotting this year. A lot of the big, we'll call them urban artists, are not going to be there.
Right.
And you get the feeling, like in general, for all the award shows, their time has come.
Their time has come.
And this may just be, again, you look at media in general these days. It's not like you got to wait to hear what the best songs were after a year. I mean, everything is right in front of your face all year long. Every day you can see everything. You can make your choices. You can make your decisions, and there's so much more coming at you. I guess it's nice if you're a member of one of the groups that you can vote for what you feel was the best.
Okay.
And I mean, sure, it's definitely for those who work in the industries, it's recognition.
Okay.
You totally see that because I mean, if you're the actor in a movie, and your peers all say, you did the best job this year, there's something worth it there.
Okay.
But I don't know, for you and I, just to sit back and watch and look at the clothing, and look at the performances. And, a couple of tearjerker acceptance speeches, and those that go too long, and the music plays, and, meh.
All right. So I guess we'll touch base next week on who won, who you didn't expect to win, all the above.
It'll be, I think Cardi B gets quite a few.
Oh, okay. Good for her.
Drake's going to win.
Huh.
Looking at the artists I listen to, hey,
So
and next year, LMA.
All right. The Walking Dead returns tonight.
Walking Dead returns tonight, and I'm not fully feeling it.
Did you get a sneak peek of tonight's episode?
Nope.
They made it available
Didn't
online.
look at it. I didn't look at it.
Watched it this morning.
Now, did you finally catch up with?
I finally caught up.
You're fully caught up.
I am fully caught up.
Okay, so then you saw the sneak peek, and
yes. I don't want to. I don't want to blow it for you.
Well, it's out there in the public, so that's okay.
I don't want to blow it.
I'm not boycotting. I just didn't see it. I'm like, okay.
I mean, well, I watched the whole episode.
I want to see the whole episode.
Yeah, the whole episode's available.
Oh, really?
Right on AMC.
Surprised they did that before. Wow.
Yeah. I was on
don't
YouTube.
Give that away.
That's what I said. I didn't want to give it away. I was on YouTube, and it said it was a quick promo.
Right.
Just, you're trying to pull up a video.
Right.
They force you to watch like 2 promos, and you're like, "What is this?"
Mm-hmm.
And it said, "Hey, if you're interested in Walking Dead," I'm like, "How do you know I'm interested in Walking Dead?" Because
click.
You're following me when I'm doing on my computer.
You said Walking Dead into your phone, and there it shows up on YouTube.
There you go.
Yeah.
So, pretty good episode.
Yeah.
Not great.
I think they need to start wrapping it up.
Not great.
I mean, like we said before, I mean, it's a moot point now. Before, and spoilers if you haven't caught up, sorry. At the end of the season, mid-season last time, when we had what seemed like they were going to be walking, talking walkers, I was pretty much done. It's like, no, let's not even go there now, okay? But we did see it turns out differently, and I like the spin that they took.
Okay.
But I think it's just time to start wrapping it up.
I haven't watched Game of Thrones yet. That's what I have to watch before April. I gotta watch it.
You have.
Okay, well, 60 episodes to watch.
I guess rewatch the entire series. I just finished last week.
When do you have time for this?
It's perfect in the gym. It's an hour. I iPad sitting on top of the treadmill.
Okay.
Turn it on. There we go.
Gotcha.
Trains.
Planes?
Perfect. Because they're the same thing. They're basically an hour each. Once in a while, a bit longer, but no, it's an hour.
Okay.
You can catch up.
Okay. So I'm going to start watching that this week.
Okay. You have to keep me abreast of every episode as you see it.
Okay.
And you got to stick with it at least through episode 4. I think by episode 4, most people are like, okay, I get it. I'm all in.
Okay. Gotcha.
That's all.
And we are about to close out of here. Rich, what do you have going on this week?
This week, it is the typical let's assist all the educators and keep the students happy. No big plans, no big projects going on. Trying to, just keep things running.
Hedging, I'm leaning towards Saturday, heading out to Connecticut for the day. Bellator, Mohegan Sun.
Mohegan Sun?
Mohegan Sun, Bellator. Hedging
on what are you hedging on?
Well, Pam and I were supposed to go.
Okay.
She got kind of upset with me.
Okay.
And she told me this morning she's not going.
Ah.
I just said,
okay.
Thank you. But best ways to follow you?
Late Night Rich.
And I'm the real Ted Hicks, and we are out.
Thanks for listening. Have a great week.